Oh, let me tell you something. Busting makes me feel good.
You don't want to think you're doing a podcast.
Right.
Yeah.
We just feel like we're having a conversation like we usually do in a basement.
We're both wearing incredibly stupid shirts, like normal. Yeah, we're in a basement, like normal. Yeah. Did we start?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I might include this at the top. Just
Okay.
because it's fun. Hi, this is Blockbusting. Welcome to Blockbusting, guys. It's a podcast where we love to hate movies. I'm your host, Jay Light. Joining me, my guest today, Tom Goss.
Yes, I'm Tom, and this is Jay, and we're blockbusting. Yeah, this is going to be fun, man.
Tom, I'm excited to have you in today because you have chosen a movie that is beloved by so many.
Oh, I know.
And hated by you, Forrest Gump.
I know. Also, is it beloved by so many, or is it beloved by a lot of dipshits? Be honest with me. Have you ever had an intelligent conversation with anyone about this film?
Never.
I'm sure you've heard everyone talk about this fucking movie.
I've heard a ton of people talk about it.
Too many people.
When I hadn't seen it for a long time growing up, and I got a lot of shit for not seeing Forrest Gump because everybody's like, you gotta see, it's so inspirational and it's a great story.
How is it inspirational?
I don't know.
That's the thing, is everyone hypes it up as this great, like, wow, look at all the things he did. And it's all based, like, they just inserted him into nostalgia clips from fucking before we were born. That's all the movie. It's like, what if we just kind of put a mentally feeble man into these scenes where fucking insane shit happened and call it a movie? That's really what it. What if a dude with leg braces taught Elvis how to dance? It's not. None of it's based on reality, which is fine. That's fine, but it's also just and none of it's possible, which is also fine, but they film it away like, whoa, wouldn't this be cool? And the answer is fucking no. I don't understand. Like, what? Let me ask you, do you like the movie?
I remember.
I'm already interviewing you. Yeah, this is
So the one time I watched it.
Okay.
Excuse me. The one time I watched it, I'm not going to say impressed. Impressed isn't the right word. But I was.
I'll level with you. The first time I saw it, I liked it. I was also like in 7th grade, and my brain hadn't developed to 25% capacity. But yeah, the first time I saw it, I thought it was good.
So the first and only time I've seen it was when I was, I believe, either in college or fresh out of college. And I was like, I got to clear through some of this backlog of movies that I just missed in my childhood.
Absolutely.
So I watched it and I was like, all right, this movie's pretty good. But it's not like, I remember watching it and being like, this is not like an excellent movie. Like, okay, so for those of you, for whatever reason, who are not like tied into pop culture and you don't remember what Forrest Gump is, according to Wikipedia, Forrest Gump is a 1994 American romantic comedy drama film based on the 1986 novel of the same name by Winston Groom. I didn't even know it was based on a book. It was directed by Robert Zemeckis, stars Tom Hanks, Robin Wright, Gary Sinise, Mykelti Williamson, and Sally Field. The story depicts several decades in the life of Forrest Gump, a slow-witted but kind-hearted man from Alabama who witnesses several defining historical events in the 20th century in the United States. This movie was a crazy, crazy success.
I know.
It was the top-grossing film in North America released that year, earned over $677 million worldwide, won Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Visual Effects, and Best Film Editing.
I know. It's amazing how they all got that wrong. Isn't that crazy?
They got it so wrong.
Well, just out of curiosity, what was it competing against? Do you know?
For Best Picture?
Yeah, for any of the categories. Just the other movies that came out in 1994. Because I was one in 1994. So I wasn't hip to the culture at that point.
It's okay. Yeah, I was 4 in 1994, so I was
not like today where I know everything that's going on. But
wasn't exactly hip to the culture then either. You're in the clear. Here's what it was up against. This is now you look at it and it's a pretty egregious year.
Yeah.
So Forrest Gump won Four Weddings and a Funeral was nominated.
And I don't think I've even heard of that movie.
Quiz Show was nominated.
Okay.
But then, so it's two you haven't heard of, but look at these two. Pulp Fiction
Okay, that is infuriating.
and The Shawshank Redemption.
That's pretty infuriating.
Yeah. Forrest Gump lost to those.
That is pretty infuriating because I think Pulp Fiction is people still fucking reference and not ironically, but it's still relevant in our culture.
Mm-hmm.
And
Because Pulp Fiction was a cutting edge movie.
yeah, it took so many risks. All of it paid off. The acting was great. It was a unique way of doing storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whether you like it or not, it challenged shit. It did interesting shit as opposed to just putting, you know, Forrest Gump was an emotional porn highlight reel. It was just like, wouldn't it be neat if a dumb dude met the president and mooned him?
That's basically, that's the whole crux of the movie is like, oh man, wouldn't it be neat if this kind of like slow Southern man was around during all this stuff? Wouldn't that be kind of nifty?
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. And then so the idea that it beat out Shawshank Redemption and Pulp Fiction. Shawshank Redemption, I enjoy. It's a great movie.
Great movie.
Not my favorite movie, but I saw it once, thought it was great.
Definitely a better movie than Forrest Gump.
Yeah, Pulp Fiction I've watched many times, and I think is just a phenomenal piece of both film and art.
Right. The fact that Pulp Fiction or Shawshank didn't win over Forrest Gump this year boggles my mind to this day.
Yeah, they fucked up. You know, if Shawshank beat Pulp Fiction, I'd be like, I disagree, but I get what you're going for. I have no fucking clue why they chose. You know, it was just a series of YouTube highlights with fucking Tom Hanks photoshopped in the background. That was so much of the movie.
This is a movie that like it's one of those things. I remember watching it, and here's the thing that I can like look like I can reflect on now when I'm watching it. I was like, oh yeah, this is kind of like it's impressive the way that the movie can like work as the puppet master for your own emotions and like hit triggers in your brain. Because I remember watching this movie and I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. Hey, I know what that is.
Yeah.
And it's like we live right now in this very big nostalgia heavy age.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I feel like if Forrest Gump came out now, it would be a no-brainer. Like everybody would fall head over fucking heels for this movie. In even more of a way than they did now, and even more in a way than they did then.
Probably. And look, I get nostalgic for things too, and I get nostalgic for some bad things.
Right.
But I will say, like, hey, fucking Smash Mouth is terrible, but I had to listen to something in 6th grade. You know what I mean? Like, I enjoy it, but it's dog shit. You know?
Right. Now imagine the lead singer of Smash Mouth being depressed and Forrest Gump going up to him saying, hey, now, you're an all-star. And then that's
that's
the
movie.
song. And then he's sitting on a bus bench spinning a fidget spinner, recounting his life. That's what Forrest Gump would be now.
It is, yeah. And I think we don't realize, like, our generation doesn't realize how dumb the movie is because all this shit happened before we were born. So, like, oh, wow, something from a history book that I can relate to. You know what I mean? It's
right.
You know, and it's just it's a cornball piece of shit. And I don't even think, like, I tried to rewatch the whole film because I try to come in prepared.
I appreciate
couldn't fucking
that.
do it.
How far did you get before you tapped out this time?
It took me 4 attempts, and I got to an hour in. It's like a 2.5 hour movie.
Is it that long?
It's at least 2 hours. It's too long.
Oh my god! It is 142 minutes. It's like 2 hours and 20 minutes long. Jesus.
Yeah, and it's, you know, and here's the thing. There are little snippets and characters that are interesting in the film, you know. Fucking the dude who has his legs blown off, fucking angry that he didn't get to die like his family did and that whole thing. You could just make a whole movie about that and do that story justice, you know. a woman raising her brain dead son while trying to run a bed and breakfast. You could you could make an interesting drama about that. There are things that they could incorporate, but pretty much the whole movie is this slow-headed, quick-footed dude can't fuck a lady he likes. That is the movie.
Yeah, I mean it is.
Forrest doesn't get any fucking nookie. That's what the film is, and it's bullshit. You know what I mean? Like it's just kind of like the
only pussy Forrest can get is infested with AIDS.
Yeah, well, and that's the whole thing. Is like so many. So I'm gonna say, here's where we're gonna get to a lot of controversial opinions. I think the virtue signaling this movie does is such hogwash horse shit. If you want to be be very woke or very anything, I'm fine with it if it's genuine. I think it's great that you have a cause and you support a cause. I think that's a good thing. I don't think I'm not going to get into the details of where I think the line is and yada yada yada. But if you believe something and you're backing it up, but people frame this as like, wow, look how not racist Forrest Gump is, when a major plot point is Jenny runs off with the Black Panthers and comes back with AIDS. That's so that's fucked. You know what I mean? And all the virtue signaling they do with the race relations is just like, oh, Forrest Gump gave the black lady the book, and Forrest Gump went out and fucking, I thought it was a huge. This movie has a lack of balls. I'm going to bring up a bunch of points where it has lack of balls.
Throw me in those balls.
That don't exist. He goes to a Black Panthers meeting, and then ends up punching the only other white dude there. Which is, I'm not saying that you should have him punch a black guy, but it's like, that's not, I'm not pro punching black people.
It's more compelling if he punches a black guy.
It's the fact that they do everything in their power to make him the most likable person. Name something that he does that's wrong.
There is nothing that he does that's wrong.
Everything is likable. Everything is fucking, oh, whoops. And that's, where the only conflict he really understands is he can't get pussy.
Right. Even the things that he does that are like wrong, you're still like, Forrest.
It's funny
like
that
him. You didn't know you were supposed to stop in the end zone, Forrest.
Exactly.
You didn't know you're supposed to not run out into a hail of gunfire.
Right.
Man, it's okay. You saved your whole platoon.
Exactly.
Good for you.
And I'm not pro punching black people or not saving your platoon. Like, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there is no, it's only look how great this guy is. There's no interesting character development there. Mm-hmm.
It's interesting, the thing you brought up a second ago, the fact that there are so many little pieces of this movie that could have been blown up into an entire movie of their own and been way more interesting.
Yeah.
Think about if you took just the section of a single mother raising her slow child in the South, which is already at a bad time to be in the South too.
A horrible
this is in the 50s, 60s. Yeah. She has to raise all that up. That would be crazy. If you did a whole section where it's a woman with AIDS and her husband raising their child to get not then that's the thing.
That would be super.
Yeah, that would be fantastic because you can do a whole movie on that.
Yeah,
but they didn't.
They basically just ruined other people's opportunity to make interesting films without going, oh yeah, they did that for 30 seconds in Forrest Gump. You know what I mean? And it's it's infuriating to me.
If you did a movie about this is a plot, and because I haven't seen the movie in a minute, I completely forgot about this. If you do a movie about how Watergate, if you did All the President's Men, but it's actually with mentally handicapped people, the way it is in Forrest Gump. All the President's Men is a movie that's revealing political corruption, right?
Right. And okay.
That's what happens in this movie. Forrest Gump exposes Watergate.
I don't think I got to that.
I don't remember that part of the movie. This is what Wikipedia says. God. While in D.C. in 1972, Forrest meets President Richard Nixon and is put up in the Watergate Hotel where he accidentally reveals the Watergate scandal. If you did a whole movie where a man a man who is just slow and happy, just touched in the head, and he's the reason Watergate exists and unveils the scandal. Oh God, that movie's great. I'll watch that movie all fucking day.
Well, and once again, if you view it in modern terms, because in modern terms, if you were to make this in modern day, it would be, autistic Channing Tatum playing Edward Snowden. That would be today's version, and you look at that and go, that's really stupid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's because we're just distanced from the nostalgia that we can kind of be like, oh yeah, that's so cool.
So Tom Hanks is like not really, he's sort of like the everyman at this point, actor-wise. Like, he's already put in a lot of work. He's got nominated for stuff. If this movie gets somehow remade in modern terms, who plays Forrest Gump? Dude, because something tells me that they're not going to get just an average-looking dude like Tom Hanks.
No, it would not surprise me if they got Channing Tatum.
Channing Tatum as Forrest Gump that would make a lot of sense.
It would be yeah, because it's, all of it is not. I mean, I was trying to think of like if they just, when they even cast the Forrest Gump stuff, they just were looking for star power. You know what I mean? Fucking that Scientology dude was one of the guys that they asked before Tom Hanks.
Scientology dude.
Fucking what was his? He was in Pulp Fiction. John Travolta.
Yes.
Yeah, and if you think about it, it's like they're very different actors. The only thing they have in common is they're both incredibly wildly famous at that point.
Mm-hmm. This says Bill Murray and Chevy Chase were also considered,
which
for the role.
It
makes sense. Those guys are both huge stars at the time.
I want to see Chevy Chase outrun a football team while running sideline to sideline. That would be. Also, he outruns a bike while he's in leg braces. He outruns a Confederate truck. He outruns there's just like I understand it's a movie, but at some point does someone go, "Hey, this is coming off pretty dumb. This is coming off. There's no, I don't know. There's no character villain. There's no darkness. There's some darkness, but
there's not really darkness. That's the thing. It's all, this movie is designed. It's a feel good movie at the end of the day,
and it's not funny enough to say it's a comedy.
Right.
There's some funny moments, I guess.
It's the kind of comedy in where you're not laughing so much as you're just going, "Oh yeah, I know what that is," which I guess is like, that passes for comedy if you're like, "Oh yeah," and you smile while you're watching a movie.
Right,
but that's not comedy.
No, it's not. It's not comedy. It is nostalgia porn.
Yeah.
It's nostalgia porn. It's feel good porn. I mean, if this doesn't sell my point on how this movie is full of shit, nostalgia porn, there was a scene they were going to film where I was wondering if you saw this on Wikipedia. We're going to bring it up, where Forrest just kind of walks in on Martin Luther King marching, and then a bunch of dogs start attacking Martin Luther King, and then Forrest Gump saves Martin Luther King by playing fetch with the dogs.
What?
Yeah, look it up.
Hold on. Where is that?
It's insane.
Oh my God.
And that's where they go, okay, that's we took it too far. Have you found it?
Where is this? No, I haven't found this.
I don't know if it's on Wikipedia, but Google Forrest Gump, Martin Luther King dogs.
Forrest Gump, Martin Luther King dogs.
It'll pop up in surprising facts about Forrest Gump. Yeah.
MLK and Forrest Gump. Oh, wow. Oh, man. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Look at this. This is featured on the special collector's edition DVD of Forrest Gump, if you guys want to see this.
Oh, they actually filmed the...
Fans of the saccharine silly Gump, we thrilled with this 2-disc special edition. This is from the Entertainment Weekly review. As it's filled with some pretty sweet stuff. Commentaries by director Robert Zemeckis and producer Wendy Feinerman, a making-of doc, and a passel of featurettes, including an FX bit that offers 2 deleted sequences that have introduced Forrest to Martin Luther King Jr. and George Bush Sr. Wow. What else? Hold on.
It's
what? The 15 here we go. Yep, the 15 facts you probably never knew about Forrest Gump. Oh man, Martin Luther King Jr. Yep. Robert Zemeckis decided to leave out several additional scenes that were supposed to make it in the film. One of these scenes had Forrest Gump running into Martin Luther King Jr. and his supporters. Forrest distracts several dogs by playing fetch with them, leaving Martin Luther King Jr. and his supporters safe. Good Christ.
Yeah. Everything they're going for is just, there's no art to it. It's just playing with emotions. That's it. And they go, okay, this will be too much where people finally figure out that we're full of shit. So we're going to cut the scene where we save Martin Luther King's life with a stick and no idea what's going on.
Oh my God. This is crazy. How did this... I want to see, what are other 20 crazy behind the scenes facts?
Nothing beats that.
That's the craziest thing I have ever heard about this movie.
It's the most insane thing.
How did this movie... Okay. I want to know, because there are other parts of this movie that like make that are just
there's some good dramatic scenes.
There are some
Most
good
of them
dramatic
are with
scenes.
Sergeant Dan.
But there are so many parts of this movie. Like here's the thing. So it got an A+ cinema score. Like people loved it. But there are people from like this is my favorite part. This is my favorite quote from a bad review of the movie. The film reduces the last few decades to a virtual reality theme park, a baby boomer version of Disney's America. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
All it is a nostalgia factory.
Yeah.
It's not, it doesn't, just because you can pay attention and be like, yay.
Yeah. And I'll also say there are cool things you can do with nostalgia.
Mhm.
I'm not against nostalgia as a whole, but you got to escalate it, not just reference it a bunch for fucking 2.5 hours.
It's comfort food.
It's exactly what it is.
It's a movie where where you're like, okay, cool. And you walk out and you're like, I'm glad I went to see that movie.
And yeah, and I'm glad you said it was comfort food, because that actually brings me to another point that I hate about this film.
Hit me with it.
Was a big, so in high school I was put in to special ed, and that's when I realized I hated this fucking film. And this goes back to, once again, the film not having any goddamn balls, because they make his IQ 75.
Right.
Even though he does not do 75 IQ shit. He does lower IQ intelligence.
And
So
for
they
those of you who don't know Tom is a man who has been in several special ed classes that can speak to IQ levels.
Yeah.
Just for some background on Tom, guys.
Yeah, I'm not a psychologist or an IQ tester. I don't know what that job is even called. But he's doing some dumb shit. I hung out with kids with Down syndrome who said some smarter shit than Forrest did throughout this movie.
I feel like kids with Down syndrome would know what's in a box of chocolates.
Yeah, they play him so dumb. They play him so insanely dumb. And then they don't even have the balls to be like, he's retarded. You know what I mean? They don't even have the balls to do that.
Mm-hmm.
They design a scapegoat. They tell Tom Hanks to play him that dumb.
Right.
Tom Hanks does play him that dumb.
Yeah.
Or else the movie doesn't work. But they go, that we have the 75 IQ.
That's the breaking point right there. You can dance around all of the other shit as long as you're like, well, he's not a total retard.
Right. But he was supposed to be in special ed until his mom fucked that principal, and now he got to, which is in the beginning of the movie.
There's a lot of people fucking in this movie.
There are, except for Forrest.
Forrest does not fuck.
Yeah, he touched a boob and came his pants and spent the rest of his life running after some lady. That was his part. But fucking,
I feel like even if they made a porn parody of this movie, Forrest Gump still wouldn't fuck anybody.
No, he'd be getting cucked by the Black Panthers, and I would watch the hell out of that. I think that would be very entertaining porn. But yeah, it's just like, so they do that, which is giving like just the lack of balls, because you're basically. Once again, this is even nostalgia. People have a soft spot for special needs people.
Yeah.
And they don't even give the special needs people the shout out they deserve. I know that's a weird qualm to have with the movie.
But it's how you feel.
It is how I feel, and it's also like the fact that because you said Tom Hanks was nominated for.
Tom Hanks won Best Actor for this.
What the fuck did he do in that film that a special needs kid couldn't? In terms of and I know people call me crazy for this. He does it. He sits on the bench and talks for most of the movie. He's doing shit. He's not talking much. He does not do any acting that they couldn't have cast I genuinely believe this. A special needs kid could have done all the shit that he did. There's no reason it had to be Tom Hanks. It's in my opinion, it's got a fucked up. I don't think that. What was the scene that made you go, "Wow, what a great actor"?
There are no scenes that made me go, "What a great actor."
There's nothing.
There's nothing in this movie that makes me go, Tom Hanks totally deserved to win Best Actor for this.
No. He sits on a bench. He runs around he shows him out but.
Legitimately, I feel like there are actual people who are on the autism spectrum in the LA comedy scene who are
100%.
open micers who could do a better job than Tom Hanks did in this movie.
100%. They could have done a just as good job. And yeah, is it kind of challenging to play? Maybe I don't know. But what I do know is you could have given that role to fucking someone who's on the spectrum, who has some issues. They would have done just as good of a job. So really, this movie is Tom Hanks steals a check from a mentally disabled kid. That is what this movie is. They can do that. That's the one thing they are guaranteed to do is come off retarded. Like they can fucking.
This movie the more we talk about it, the more it feels like a con was pulled on America.
It was. That's exactly what it was.
It's like Robert Zemeckis, he got into a bar bet with somebody and he was like, I'm going to make a movie about a mentally challenged kid and win all of the awards. And it's going to be a pretty average movie.
And what drives me crazy is movies caught us all the time. Avatar, they put in some extra CGI but 2 years later, everyone's like, yeah, that was not good. There was just some shiny shit in it. That was it. You know what I mean? People came around. No one's still talking about Avatar. People still talk about this stupid fucking movie.
Right.
There's and it drives me nuts. I don't understand. I'm trying to think, and people are like, it's a beautiful love story.
No, it's not a love story.
She got AIDS and threw a disabled man a pity fuck. That's not I don't There is nothing interesting about the character development. There's nothing interesting besides the nostalgia. There's nothing interesting about the script. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's crazy to me. Even more the fact that Tom Hanks won Best Actor for playing a character that literally barely develops at all over the course of the movie. The biggest plot point in the character development of Forrest Gump happens when he runs.
Yeah,
and his braces fall off his legs,
which is in the first 5 minutes of the fucking movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's not a character. That's a character development. That's not even an emotional character development. Mm-mm. That's just oh shit, I go fast.
Yeah,
that's it.
None of the things that Forrest Gump does in the movie feel like they're out of place. They all feel like they make sense. Forrest Gump is a character that I get why people. Watching the movie. I get why people like the character because he's a likable dude.
He's very likable.
He's not as a character. He's not unlikable, but that doesn't mean that he is difficult to play. It doesn't mean that he should be getting awards for playing this character.
Absolutely,
it's insane to me that people watched that instead of look at what are these other people who got nominated that year. Morgan Freeman for The Shawshank Redemption.
It's infuriating.
Didn't win. And John Travolta for Pulp Fiction also didn't win.
And I don't even like John Travolta. He was great in that movie.
You're playing complex characters. Tom Hanks as Pulp Fiction. Tom Hanks is
Pulp Fiction. Would be a kind of hilarious movie because he's not going to make any interesting choices.
Let's do that crossover. Can someone edit together a scene where Forrest is actually the gimp that's being fucked in Pulp Fiction?
Just Tom Hanks' face on all of the characters. That's the other. I have a problem with Tom Hanks in general because there were some I like Turner and Hooch because it's the only movie where he does anything interesting character wise, where he's kind of an asshole. He kind of develops. He kind of like there's some change. Every other fucking movie he's in is like, what if a pilot was nice? You know, like that's. Dude, I thought about doing Sully, but I was like, no, I got some more opinions on Tom Hanks.
What if a guy was on an island?
Yeah. You know, Castaway. Castaway, he does some good act. He does some. That's
right,
hard
because he has
to do.
Castaway is a tricky movie.
He has to fucking act in that movie. But at the same time, where is the part where he has anything unlikable about him?
Right.
And that's a big thing for me. And I get that it's not a big thing for everybody. But
I think a good character's got to be a little complex.
Exactly.
You can't have a character, especially now, where there are so many different stories that you can see on TV and in film.
For sure.
Where the characters have depth and range to the kinds of actions that they take and the kinds of emotions that they portray.
Right.
And this, simply put, this movie, if it came out now, it would be I would imagine it would still probably be a huge box office success because you get Channing Tatum being a little slow and fucking, I don't know, whoever the version of Robin Wright is now.
Yeah.
But it's not gonna win awards.
God, I hope not. It's such a bummer. I didn't realize it won all of those.
It won all the awards.
Yeah, but it's just like everything they do is just lack of any interesting choices, and instead plays to nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
There's no. If anyone tweet at me if you can think of an interesting choice, a complex choice they make in that film.
There isn't. I don't think there are any.
There's nothing, and that's based around Forrest. There's some other characters that do some interesting things, but they're not. They're barely in the fucking movie.
Yeah,
you know.
Is there a movie that you would recommend people watch instead of Forrest Gump? Like, what's one of your favorites?
One of my favorites? Oh shit! I mean, I'm trying to think of movies that not many people have seen. I like dark films. I really do. I mean, everyone's seen like The Departed is a great, for crime. I'd have to go genre by genre. Crime, Departed, American Gangster. I fucking love those two films. Comedy. Oh, shit, I don't really know.
That's fine.
I don't. Yeah. Fuck. I also have just a shit memory. I can't just mention two crime movies.
I mean, you can. That's cool by me.
Yeah. I'm trying to. Fucking Martin McDonagh is one of my. Martin McDonagh is one of my favorite writers. He wrote plays before he did movies. He did Seven Psychopaths and In Bruges.
Right.
And both are very dark, twisted comedies with a lot of very complex characters that are doing. Have you seen either of those films?
I've seen both of those films.
That shows more of my taste. I don't want to like the guy the whole time. I want to hate the character and then come back to liking him and resent myself for feeling some empathy for him. Like I want it to challenge me in some way. I want it, I don't just want to fucking. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know what's going on over there either.
Yeah, they're making fun of me. I can guarantee it. But
so what you're saying is you would have liked Forrest Gump if instead of revealing that,
I'd rather Forrest Gump kill a kid and then live with the guilt.
I was gonna say let's let Forrest Gump be the shooter on the grassy knoll.
That would
instead
be
of getting
great.
to just meet
That
JFK.
would be great because he also none of the nice things he does for society, he does on purpose. You know what I mean? When he fucking gives the lady the book, the black lady the book, he wasn't saying like you're welcome here. He was saying you dropped your book, and then it became like a huge like every little thing he does, he doesn't know what he's doing, So why not have him accidentally kill the president? It wouldn't be on him. He doesn't know what he's doing.
He doesn't know what he's doing. He's just a pawn in the machine.
Yeah, he's not even a pawn. He's just kind of a rogue fucking, he's just kind of roguely out there. He's vaguely out there, just kind of running around eating chocolate, One time I forgot what this movie was called, and I called it Chocolate Retard.
That's basic. I mean, you hit the nail on the head with that one time, I think.
Everyone who says it's a progressive film can go fuck themselves with a giant missile. It is not.
It is in no way a progressive film. It's in no way a good film. If you like the film, I'm not mad at you. Just know that it's a fucking dog shit movie.
And you should definitely at me and Tom to talk about this movie.
Oh yeah,
I
will fight all of you on Twitter about this until my thumbs fall off. I am, yeah, you know. And when people do quote this movie, if without the context of the movie, if someone just went, "Life is like a box of chocolates," you'd go, well, that guy has some issues. You wouldn't have any, you know what I mean? It's through the context of the movie, but I don't think the dialogue is good. I don't think a lot of the way they filmed it, like in one of the earlier scenes, Forrest Gump is just kind of walking on his first day of school. Once again, I only could watch like the first hour of the movie. His first day of school, he's on the bus, and this is a technical film thing where all these kids are going, you can't, seats taken. And then you look at him and the seat is actually taken. Like they're not even rejecting him. They're just like just very little things.
Right.
That I'm like, what I get you got to get across that he's not accepted by society, but you're not even doing it very effectively without I don't know. I could scream about this for 3 hours, dude. It fucking evokes a rage in me.
I can tell.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you were able to scream about it for about a half hour.
Yeah,
that's all we need today.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Tom, thanks so much for coming on today, man.
Yeah, man.
Where can the listeners find your other work? I know, obviously, of course, Mean Boys podcast, which you're a part of.
Please listen to Mean Boys on iTunes and whatever you listen to shit on. It's on the shit. And then Twitter and Instagram, I'm at Goss6. If you think it's a bad handle, you're wrong. Twitter recommended it to me, so it can't be bad. At Goss6. And listen to Mean Boys.
Sweet. You can find me on the internet at Diet J on Twitter and Instagram. jlightcomedy.com for any show dates coming up, and leave a rating for Blockbusting because
do it.
It's a good
fun.
deal.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on, Tom. This is a great
thanks
episode.
for having me. Yeah, I'm always down to scream about something I hate.
Fuck yeah. Folks, this has been Blockbusting. Go see something good for a change.